I sit at my mother's kitchen table, tracing the familiar wood grain with my fingertip, while December sunlight filters through the lace curtains. The air carries the scent of cinnamon and pine, evidence of her early Christmas preparations. From the mantel, her ceramic Santa collection observes me with glossy, painted eyes. My sister Veronica leans against the counter, laughing too loudly at something her husband Brian says. Outside, their kids, Ethan and Leia, race through the frosty yard, their breath visible in the cold. For a moment, I watch them through the window, caught in the quiet joy of their play. Barbara will handle our Christmas catering this year. My mother's voice cuts through the noise, and the room falls silent. Every head turns toward me. I freeze, my coffee halfway to my lips. What? The word escapes before I can stop it. Mom smooths her cardigan and smiles, perfectly calm. Well, you make good money as a data analyst. Of course, you'll take care of it. Everyone will appreciate it. Heat rises to my neck as I quickly do the math. 4 aunts, 3 uncles, their children, plus our immediate family. At least 27 people. The catering company Mom likes charges $85 per person. That's $2,295 before tax. My savings ache just thinking about it. Uncle Ray nods approvingly. Knew Barbara would be the one to step up. Aunt Patricia beams. So generous of you, dear. We're lucky to have you. I open my mouth, but nothing comes out. The trap is perfect. To protest now would make me the villain of Christmas. Veronica jumps in with a practiced smile. How wonderful. My little sister taking care of everyone again. Always responsible. Our eyes meet. Something flickers there. Triumph, maybe. Or relief that this time she isn't the target. I remember rushing home from work weeks earlier after Veronica texted that she wanted to stop by. Unlocking my apartment, I'd stopped cold. Not just Ethan and Leia, but 2 unfamiliar children sprawled on my living room floor, surrounded by snacks and toys. Oh, good, you're home. Veronica had already grabbed her purse. My friend Jane needed help too. You don't mind, right? They're fed, just need watching until 8. Wait. I started, but she was halfway out the door. Thanks, Barb. You're a lifesaver. Within minutes, my spotless apartment descended into chaos. The youngest, Jane's son, nearly fell down the stairs while I was mopping up spilled juice. I caught him just in time, my heart pounding. Barbara? Mom's voice snaps me back to the present. Don't you have anything to say? I swallow hard, remembering Jasmine's words from our coffee date last week. Her sharp eyes had narrowed when I told her about the babysitting incident. They're using you, Barb. If you don't set boundaries now, they never will. I'd stirred my latte, watching cinnamon swirl into foam. But they're family. Family doesn't treat family like free labor, she'd replied firmly. I didn't argue, but Ethan's innocent words from that same chaotic evening echoed in my head. Mom says you're not busy, so you have to play with us all day. Barbara? Mom's tone sharpens. Everyone is waiting, expecting my polite, grateful acceptance. 20 pairs of eyes, all wanting the same thing. The room feels stifling. Yes, I finally say, the word bitter on my tongue. I'll handle it. Mom's smile widens. Wonderful. The caterer needs a $1,400 deposit by tomorrow. Tomorrow? I blink. Well, it's Christmas, dear. Everything books up fast. I already called them. They're holding the spot. You can write the check now. She slides her checkbook toward me. My hand trembles as I write the check. The amount devours the bonus I'd planned for a weekend trip to Aspen. Mom plucks it from my fingers before I can think twice. She tucks it neatly into her wallet, exchanging a quick glance with Veronica that chills me. As she folds the check away, the realization hits hard. This isn't generosity. This isn't family helping family. It's something else entirely. The next morning, I arrive at my parents' brick house an hour early, hoping to discuss the menu before the payment becomes final. Frost crunches under my boots as I follow the familiar path to the side door. The spare key sits beneath the stone rabbit statue, exactly where it's always been. I hesitate, then let myself in. No need to knock. The scent of cinnamon and furniture polish greets me. Voices drift from the kitchen. We'll put all 9 kids upstairs in the playroom with Barbara, Mom says, her tone amused. She can handle them while the adults enjoy themselves downstairs. I freeze mid-step. The cold doorknob bites into my palm. Laughter follows her words. Mom's distinctive giggle. She won't say no. She never does. My stomach sinks. And she's already paid for everything, Mom continues proudly. Henry was worried she might back out when she saw the total, but I told him she'd never disappoint family. The words strike like blows. This was never about family contribution, it was about convenience. I was their financier and their babysitter, the perfect Christmas servant. Silently, I back away, careful not to let the floor creak. Through the window, I spot Aunt Patricia's silver sedan in the driveway. Of course, Mom's accomplice. Outside, the winter air stings my face, but I barely feel it. I reach my car, fumbling twice before starting it. Tears blur my vision. By the time I pull into the empty parking lot of a Christmas tree stand 3 blocks away, the tears come freely. With shaking hands, I call Jasmine. "Hey," she answers quickly. "Aren't you meeting with your mom about catering?" "They're using me," I choke out. "The money, the babysitting, everything was planned." "Oh, Barb," her voice softens. "What happened?" The story spills out in fragments. When I finish, she sighs. "I've been inviting you to our cabin Christmas for years. This is your sign. Come with us. We leave Tuesday. No excuses." "I couldn't impose on your family holiday." "Impose?" She scoffs gently. "You're welcome there, and Tom will be there too." Her teasing tone warms me despite everything. Tom, Jasmine's college friend with the quiet laugh and kind eyes. We'd met before, always in passing. "I'll think about it," I say, though I already know my answer. 20 minutes later, I sit in my kitchen, phone pressed to my ear. Serendipity Catering. This is Rachel. "Hi, Rachel. I need to cancel a Christmas order under Barbara Ramos." A pause. "Let me check." "Yes, 27 guests, $1,400 deposit received." That's the one. "I should let you know our policy. Cancellations within 14 days forfeit the deposit plus a $300 fee." I close my eyes. $1,200 gone. 3 months of car payments, half a month's rent. "That's fine," I say. "Please process the refund." "Would you like to rebook for another date?" "No, thank you." A brief silence. Then softer. "Family holidays can be hard. I'm sorry." Her empathy nearly undoes me. "Thank you," I whisper. That evening, my phone buzzes. Missed calls from Mom, Dad, Veronica, texts demanding updates. I stare at the screen, the familiar pull of obligation stirring again. Then I exhale, steady. I type, "I canceled the catering. I won't be attending Christmas this year." The calls come instantly. I silence each one, then block them all. The silence that follows feels heavy and freeing. For the first time in years, I don't know what Christmas will look like. And for the first time, that feels like a gift. 3 days later, I load my suitcase into Jasmine's SUV, snowflakes swirling in the early morning air. She beams from the driver's seat, coffee in hand. "You sure about this?" she asks. I nod. "Completely." The drive to the cabin takes 5 hours. At first, the radio fills the silence with soft Christmas music, but soon we're laughing, swapping stories about disastrous office parties and failed baking attempts. By the time we reach the mountain road, the tension I've carried for weeks starts to fade. The cabin sits nestled among tall pines dusted with snow, smoke curling from the chimney. Warm light glows through the windows, and for a moment I forget everything. My family's manipulation, the guilt, the check. Inside, Tom greets us with his familiar half-smile. "You made it." He takes my bag before I can protest, his hand brushing mine briefly. Something about his calm steadiness grounds me. Dinner that night is simple but perfect. Roast chicken, mashed potatoes, laughter. Real laughter. No backhanded comments, no invisible debts. When Jasmine's youngest spills cranberry sauce, nobody scolds him. They just laugh and clean it up together. Later, as the fire crackles, Tom hands me a mug of cocoa and settles beside me. "You seem lighter," he says quietly. "I canceled Christmas." He smiles. "Or maybe you just changed what it means." We talk late into the night about work, travel, and family expectations. I tell him about my mother's kitchen, the check, the overheard conversation. He listens without judgment, nodding slowly. "My family's the same," he admits. "Different tactics, same guilt." The next morning, sunlight filters through snow-laden trees. I wake early, wrap myself in a blanket, and step onto the porch. The cold stings my cheeks, but the air feels cleaner, sharper. For once, the world feels quiet enough to think. Inside, Jasmine stirs awake and joins me with 2 steaming mugs. "You okay?" "I think so," I say. "It's strange, but I don't feel guilty anymore." She grins. "That's because you finally stopped being everyone's safety net." By afternoon, my phone buzzes again. Blocked numbers, new messages from relatives. Against my better judgment, I open one. "Mom, Barbara, how could you do this to us?" Everyone is disappointed. Christmas is ruined. I take a deep breath and set the phone aside. Jasmine glances at me. Let me guess? Mom says Christmas is ruined. Good, Jasmine says with a smirk. Let them learn how to fix it themselves. That evening, we all gather around the fireplace to decorate a small pine tree we cut ourselves. I hang a wooden ornament shaped like a star, one of Jasmine's old keepsakes. Tom nudges me. You know, next year you could host something like this. Small, peaceful, no drama. I smile faintly. Maybe I will. Snow begins to fall again, thick and silent. For the first time in years, I feel part of something that doesn't demand repayment. When midnight comes, Tom plays soft guitar near the fire. His voice is low, the melody warm. I close my eyes and listen, letting go of the last traces of guilt. The next morning, while everyone opens small handmade gifts, I scroll through the new messages from my family. Most are angry. One from Dad simply says, "Hope you're okay." I reply, "I am." It's the first honest thing I've said to them in months. That evening, Tom walks me to the porch as the sky turns pink over the snow. "You really aren't going back, are you?" he asks gently. "No," I say. "Not the way things were." He nods, understanding. "Then here's to new traditions." He clinks his mug against mine, and we stand in the cold, watching the last light fade. Somewhere far away, my mother is probably pacing her kitchen, retelling the story of how I ruined Christmas. But here, surrounded by peace, warmth, and people who see me as more than a resource, I finally understand. Walking away wasn't selfish. It was necessary. Christmas isn't about sacrifice. It's about presence. And this year, for the first time, I finally showed up for myself. The weeks after Christmas pass quietly. Back in my apartment, the decorations still sit in their box by the door, untouched. For once, I don't feel guilty about not putting them up. The space feels calm, clean, mine. When I return to work after the holidays, my coworkers share stories about family dinners, travel, and chaos. I listen, smiling, but feel no envy. For the first time, I have nothing to prove. During lunch one afternoon, Jasmine texts me a picture of their cabin dusted in fresh snow. "You left your scarf here. Want an excuse to come back?" I type back, "Tempting." Tom messages later too. "Cabin feels empty without your cocoa reviews." A small smile crosses my face. I hadn't realized how natural it felt being there, how easy it was to breathe when nobody expected something from me. By February, the silence from my family has shifted from anger to awkward distance. One night, Veronica finally calls. I almost don't answer, but curiosity wins. "Hey," she says softly, "haven't heard from you." I needed space. "Yeah, I get it. Mom's been dramatic about the whole thing." "Has she?" My voice stays even. "She told everyone you canceled Christmas out of spite, but honestly, after you didn't show up, people started asking questions about the money, the catering." I pause. "And she ended up admitting she pressured you into it. Aunt Patricia was furious." I let that sink in. "So Christmas wasn't ruined after all?" Veronica sighs. "Not really. Everyone chipped in. We had sandwiches and leftovers. It was fine. Maybe even better." The quiet that follows feels like the beginning of something honest. "Look," she adds, "I wanted to say thanks. You taking a stand. It made me realize how much we all take advantage of you. I'm sorry." It's a strange thing, forgiveness. It doesn't arrive all at once. It settles slowly, like snow after a storm. "I appreciate that," I say simply. We talk for a few more minutes, nothing heavy, just light conversation. When we hang up, I don't feel anger anymore, just relief. The next weekend, I meet Tom for coffee. He's already waiting, 2 mugs on the table, one topped with extra cinnamon, he remembered. "So," he says, smiling, "ready to plan your next rebellion?" I laugh. "Not rebellion, just balance." He nods. Then here's to balance. We sit in easy silence, the city humming outside. For the first time in years, the future feels open, not controlled by guilt, not defined by family expectation. Later that night, I take out a notebook and write 3 words at the top of a blank page. Next Christmas, my way. Maybe it'll be another cabin trip. Maybe a quiet dinner with close friends. Maybe just me, a movie, and peace. Whatever it is, it'll be mine. Earned, chosen, and free of obligation. As I set down the pen, I glance at the empty box of decorations by the door. Maybe I'll unpack them next year, or maybe I won't. Either way, I finally understand something I never did before. Saying no to others was the first time I said yes to myself. Spring arrives quietly. The city sheds its gray coat, and new leaves spread like fresh promises. I start jogging again, something I'd stopped doing years ago when weekends were always claimed by family obligations. One morning, as I run past the park, I spot a mother helping her child learn to ride a bike. The boy wobbles, nearly falls, then steadies himself. The mother cheers softly, not rushing, not scolding, just letting him find his balance. The image stays with me all day. At work, my focus sharpens. I finally apply for a project lead role I've wanted for years but never pursued because family needed me. When I get the offer, the first person I tell isn't my mother or sister. It's Jasmine. About time, she says, laughing. You've been leading without the title forever. Tom sends a congratulatory message too. Knew you'd get it. Let's celebrate soon. It feels strange, this quiet confidence. Not the kind built on others' approval, but the kind that grows from saying no and meaning it. A week later, I receive a handwritten letter. My mother's looping cursive fills the page. Barbara, I've had time to think about Christmas. I shouldn't have assumed so much. You've always been generous, and I took advantage of that. I'm sorry. I hope we can start fresh. I read the words twice, unsure what to feel. There's apology, but also the familiar undertone of control, like a fisherman reeling in the line after loosening it just enough. Still, I fold the letter carefully and set it aside. Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting. It means no longer letting it own you. That weekend, I meet Tom at a small bookstore cafe. We wander the aisles, laughing over old paperbacks. He pauses in front of a display of travel guides. Pick one, he says. Anywhere. I raise an eyebrow. Anywhere? Anywhere you'd go if you didn't have to explain it to anyone. I scan the shelves, then pull out a slim guide to Norway. Snow, quiet lakes, endless sky. He grins. Perfect. We spend the afternoon planning imaginary routes and laughing over pastries. Yet something in the moment feels real. Possible. Later, on my walk home, I realize how far I've come. Just months ago, I was writing checks to please everyone else. Now, I'm writing plans for myself. By early summer, my relationship with my family settles into something new. Polite, distant, manageable. They still invite me to gatherings, but when I say I can't make it, no one argues. It's as if they finally accepted that I'm not their fallback. One evening, as sunlight fades over the city, I light a single candle on my windowsill, not for nostalgia or ritual, but as a quiet marker of everything I've rebuilt. The phone buzzes. Tom again. Dinner next week? I found a place that serves Norwegian stew. I smile. I'm in. The flame flickers gently, steady and calm. I once believed family was something you owed yourself to endlessly, no matter the cost. But now I see it differently. Family, real family, is built on respect, not obligation. On giving freely, not out of guilt. And sometimes, to save yourself, you have to walk away first. Autumn returns before I realize how quickly the year has passed. Leaves turn gold, the air sharpens, and store windows fill again with Christmas displays. But this time, the season feels different. It no longer carries the same weight of expectation. It feels lighter. One evening, while walking home from work, I pass a family decorating a tree visible through their window. Their laughter drifts into the street, warm and unforced. For a moment, I stop and smile, not with envy, but with peace. That night, I sit at my kitchen table, a small stack of holiday cards beside me. I write one to Jasmine and her family, thanking them for giving me space when I needed it most. Another to Tom with a short note. Still thinking about Norway. The last card I address to my parents. I stare at the blank space for a while before writing, I hope you both have a wonderful holiday. I'm doing well, and I wish you peace. No guilt. No apology. Just truth. In December, I fly to a small mountain town with Tom and Jasmine's family. The cabin looks even more beautiful than before, blanketed in snow. Inside, the fire crackles and laughter fills the room. I help Tom hang lights around the windows while Jasmine hums softly, the kids decorating cookies at the table. When we sit down for dinner, there's no formality, just warmth. Simple food, shared stories, the comfort of people who give without taking. Tom raises his glass. To choosing peace, he says, smiling toward me. I lift mine. To choosing ourselves. Outside, snow falls softly against the window. I think of the kitchen where this all began, of my mother's voice, the check, the silent resentment. I don't feel anger anymore, only distance and understanding. Maybe someday, things will heal more fully. But even if they don't, I'm okay. After dinner, we step outside, the cold crisp and still. The sky glows with stars. Tom stands beside me, his breath visible in the air. Do you ever miss it? He asks quietly. The old way? I shake my head. No, I miss the idea of it, the version I hoped existed, but not the reality. He nods. That's fair. I smile faintly. Turns out I didn't ruin Christmas after all, I just finally made it mine. The world feels quiet and wide. For the first time in my life, Christmas doesn't feel like something to survive. It feels like something to live. And as the snow continues to fall around us, I realize that sometimes freedom doesn't come from fighting harder. It comes from walking away, closing the door gently, and never looking back.